And call this specially called meeting to order. We will skip with all the formalities today. We'll skip the invocation. We'll skip the Pledge of Allegiance. There's just 3 council members here. Thanks to our city attorney and our city clerk for being here as well. And thank you to our attorney and engineer for the Airport Authority for being here as well. The reason that we're here is we were notified on Tuesday that we had been awarded a grant of about, it's a little over $70,000. The portion that we're going to receive is $66,243. Now, the Airport Authority, with their own funds, will pitch in 5% of the 70-something thousand odd dollars, and then the state of Alabama will pitch in another 5%, I believe, making it 100%, a little over $70,000. And we had to have the paperwork completed by today. And we felt like it was important to meet for, the 5 or 6 minutes that it'll take us to take you this business so the Fairhope Airport Authority can receive the funds of the $66,000 in funds. Bobby, can I get you to brief the council on exactly what the funds are going to be used for, just we can get that on the record?
Yes, sir. As you guys are aware, we have been talking about a larger project going on out there. We're working on the order of about $3 million. There was some engineering and services related to that, some planning services in preparation for that. That money was not available. It was not awarded. Simply put, the government ran out of money. You guys were very high on the priority list. That's why we're so late. Normally these things would be taken care of, middle of June, 1st of August, and give you guys plenty of time to react to this. This grant was held almost to the 11th and a half hour, strictly because they were waiting for national discretionary funds, and it just wasn't any available at the end of the cycle. These funds are costs you've incurred up to that point, so you're getting reimbursed. The Airport Authority has already expended most of these funds, not quite all of them, but most of these funds. So this is to reimburse you guys for money you spent getting to that point.
Okay. And that was specifically, wasn't it for engineering services for the phase 4? On the
yes, sir.
side?
It was to update it was under 3 contracts, actually. It was to update the construction documents we had. We did the original full-blown design several years ago, and we've been piecemealing it as the FAA gave you guys funding. This was to bring the 4th and final phase together. It was to add the utilities to the project. We had some immediate interest in this apron. At one point, the Fairhope Airport Authority was looking at people moving in before we finished construction, and we realized it was a lot faster than anybody anticipated. So the Fed said, hey, throw it in there. We'll try to get the money for it as well. So they paid for all the utilities, the engineering to be installed. And then because of the fast pace, there was a need to update the plan over there. It wasn't really set up in 2010 to accept the kind of tenants they were looking at in some of the utilities and stuff. So there was a small package in there as well to update that document for the FAA.
Any questions for Bobby? Mr. Myrick, do you need to add anything to this discussion?
I don't think so. Joe couldn't be here. He's out of town, so he asked me to make sure it's time sensitive. We have to have this document scanned to the FAA by this afternoon, and I'll overnight mail it to the regional office today. So that's basically my purpose in being here. Right. Like Bobby said, it just happens on short notice. We got word of it on Tuesday, and they gave us basically 48 hours to accept it.
Okay. Council, I'll read the resolution very quickly. This is resolution number 2880-17, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Fairhope, Alabama, approving and authorizing the city to enter into a grant agreement with the Federal Aviation Administration for the benefit of the Fairhope Airport Authority and the Fairhope Airport. Whereas the United States of America, acting through the Federal Aviation Administration, has offered to pay a maximum of $66,243 for design, taxiway construction, East Terminal Area Phase 3. I said Phase 4 earlier, sorry about that. Paving and lighting for 2,000 plus or minus access, that's feet, access taxiways, and for 1,100 plus or minus feet of parallel taxiway and site utilities at the HL Sonny Callahan Airport in Fairhope, being project number 3-01-0029-018-2017. And whereas the purpose of this grant is that the Federal Aviation Administration pay a 90% share of the allowable cost incurred in accomplishing said project. And whereas this offer of the Federal Aviation Administration is contingent upon acceptance of the grant in accordance with its term, namely including, among others, the airport sponsor assurances included as pages 8 through 24 of the grant agreement, and whereas the grant application was originally processed with the recipient to be the City of Fairhope, Alabama, and whereas during the pendency of the processing of the grant, the City of Fairhope has fully cooperated in the creation of a new entity to own and control the H.L. Sonny Callahan Airport in Fairhope by the newly created Fairhope Airport Authority, and whereas the transferring of the properties and assets and liabilities concerning the H.L. Sonny Callahan Airport in Fairhope is still to some extent in progress, whereas the Federal Aviation Administration retains the right to approve any such transfer from the City of Fairhope Authority and such assets and liabilities of and pertaining to an airport such as H.L. Sonny Callahan Airport in Fairhope, which has received and retained grant money or assets from the Federal Aviation Administration, and whereas the process of getting approval of the transfer from the Federal Aviation Administration is still ongoing and is not completed, and whereas the deadline for the date and receipt for the grant for the Federal Aviation Administration is almost upon us, whereas some intermediate solution to these problems is in the best interests of all concerned. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council in the city, of the city in a regular meeting of the City Council, and I should say of a special call meeting of the City Council. We'll modify that the mayor or a council member is hereby authorized to sign and execute any necessary and appropriate documents so that the city can receive the grant during this interim period, acting for and in behalf of the H.L. Sonny Callahan Airport in Fairhope and Fairhope Airport Authority as sponsor, so that pending and during the period when the Federal Aviation Administration the transfer of the airport and the grants and liabilities concerning the airport, and this grant is not lost unnecessarily, but is instead accepted in accordance with applicable laws and procedures. Now, the reason I read a 2-page resolution is because it was a special call meeting, and I want to give the public the right to hear all of that and get that on the record, because we usually put that out many days before. So I wanted to get all of that in the record. There are some whereases in here that kind of speak to the past quite a bit. I'm not sure that all those whereases were needed, but I don't think it's damaging to the language either.
No, I don't think it affects the substance of it. Frankly, we were just in a hurry, and we have the same version that's been carried forward over at least the past 6 years. And
right.
So, it frankly was just modeled quite a bit after those.
We probably need to eliminate a few of these whereases. I would think we could.
Moving forward, we can do that.
Okay. All right. Council, any questions for council or for the engineer? Okay. Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to pass this resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor of the resolution, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, please say nay. Okay, resolution is approved. We did put in there that a council member or the mayor may sign it, because I didn't know the mayor's schedule today being such a rush meeting. So I would recommend that if the mayor's not immediately available, that one of the two of you sign the documents, if you don't mind. I think Lisa's going to run back there and see if she can't get these documents signed. Now I'll ask you to stick around for a few minutes. And I think that's it. Do you guys have any more comments?
Nope.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed say nay. Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here.